the Portland Culinary Podcast on Portland Culinary Radio. I'm Stephen Chalma, your host. I'm so excited. Today we are going to get to tell the story of an amazing, entertaining dining experience. Tony Starlight's Showroom. Is that right, Tony Starlight Showroom?
That is correct.
And so I have a true Portland legend sitting right here with me at Culmination. Tony Starlight himself, good morning.
Good morning.
And then I have Steve Brown. Steve, you orchestrate the magic that happens at Spin Catering.
That's right.
So you guys are roughly 11th and Madison?
Yep, Southeast Portland.
If I show up there, I pre-order, I get to pick one of 3 different amazing dishes. Then when I arrive, I get a show, the food's brought out to me. It's a whole culinary experience.
Yeah, I mean, mechanically, you go to tonystarlight.com and you look at the list of upcoming shows, and then when you click on the event you want to see, a seating chart comes up. You'll pick the seats you want. When you pick the seats, you also order from 1 of 3 options. And then when you arrive on the night, you get seated by a host, you get your dinner and drinks, you get served your dinner, and then a show. We call it a little mom and pop Vegas show.
All right, I want to get into some details about it. Before we do, a standard thing on the Portland Culinary Podcast. So, Tony, where were you born?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
And then where'd you go to high school?
Bozeman, Montana.
And what was the mascot?
I was a hawk.
A hawk. The Bozeman, Montana Hawks. I like that. That's good. Okay, and then what brought you to Portland?
I'd been living in Eugene after various different places in my life, and I wanted to continue to do music. Portland was a great city to do music in, and came here in 1993. All
right, so you just said, okay, I'm done with Eugene, and Portland looks good.
Absolutely, and I came up here, and I'd been a singer-songwriter, and unfortunately, I was not a good singer nor a good songwriter. So I was working in Virginia Cafe as a cook alongside a Portland beer legend now, Jerry Fechter, owner of Lompoc.
I love Jerry. I just had him on an episode of the Portland Beer Podcast.
Oh, boy, I bet you had to turn the mics down because Jerry's all like, hey, 8,000 just 8,000 decibels. Jerry was working the lunch shifts, as was I. He was a waiter. I was a cook. I remember when Jerry said he was going to, I think it was Chicago, to go to beer school to learn how to brew beer. And I just thought that was so silly. Like, what are you going to do with that, right? So,
he's going to put together one of Portland's prominent breweries is what he's going to do.
Beautiful. So, well-deserved success for Jerry. And then another guy with that lunchtime shift was a guy named Ralph Huntley, who's a piano player, and he had a jazz group. And I was always kind of goofing around, not knowing what to do with my music, and always had kind of the class clown comedy type thing going on. And so him and his group said, hey, why don't you come sing with us sometime? You do we'll get you a lime green tuxedo. You'll do a sort of a send-up of the Bill Murray Lounge Singer, right? So, and we'll call you Tony Starlight.
Oh, so that's where the legend was born.
That's where the legend was born.
I didn't know that myself.
And how did that first show go?
It went great. Of course it went great. Well, how else would I be? So it was horrible, but it was horribly good. It was at a time in 1993 when kind of grunge was everywhere. Grunge was in the air. A lot of angry young people screaming. The most privileged class of human beings who'd ever lived on the planet were angry. I didn't understand that. So we just had a total different vibe. I'm singing Born Free. There wasn't really any jokes other than it was kitsch, for lack of a better word at the time. And it was fun, and it was severely alcohol-fueled. That first one took place at a place called Mark's Hawthorne Pub, which is no longer around. We could do a whole show on places I've played in Portland that are no longer around, by the way.
Is there a correlation? No, I'm just kidding.
I like to think so. I'm slowly eliminating the competition. Then I thought, well, this is a good way for me to do what I do. I can stay in music. I can tell jokes in this character that I couldn't really do as a singer-songwriter the same way. And I can sing songs that are much better than the songs I'm writing. So a character and a lifestyle was born, and I started writing material for it. And we did it in that way around Portland at places like the Gypsy. We had a regular place. We had the Jimmy Mac's a regular. Again, these are all places that are gone. And then I went off to LA for a while and came back and opened my own venue in 2007, Tony Starlight Supper Club and Lounge at Sandy Boulevard, at the cursed corner of Sandy Boulevard. We were there 8 years until I met Steve. And then now we have Tony Starlight Showroom together.
Okay, Steve, so questions for you. You kind of orchestrate the magic that happens at Spin Catering, and that Tony provides the entertainment, and you provide, Spin provides the food at the Tony Starlight Showroom. Where were you born?
I was born in Longview, Washington.
Not Kelso, Longview.
That's right.
All right. And what high school did you go to?
Went to Mark Morris High School.
And what's the mascot there?
Home of the Monarchs.
And that is in Kelso?
That's in Longview.
That's in Longview. See, I'm tricking you up. I know that whole Kelso. They don't like each other, do they? Kelso, at least in high school, right?
That's right. That's right. No, happy to be from the good side of the tracks in Longview, Washington.
I love that's fantastic. Okay, do you know where Skamakaway is?
Up north.
Yes, so it's between Kelso and Astoria, little tiny town. A friend of mine has a goat cheese creamery, and she's convinced everyone knows where Skamakaway is. No, even people live in Kelso Longview. It's a tough thing, Skamakaway. Okay, so you work in food. Where did your food journey begin?
I started with a love of food. My wife's a great cook, and so we've always been blessed to have a lot of delicious dishes at home. And my father, as I was finishing up college, had the bright idea to open a restaurant. He wanted to open a Cheers-style restaurant so that he could have a nice, easy retirement.
Yeah, because running a restaurant is so easy.
No, it wasn't quite as easy as we all planned. And so I went in with him, and we opened Madison's Grill at Southeast 11th in Madison in 1997, before the Central East Side really took off. So we were one of 3 spots, and we did very well. And so after about 5 years of a relaxed restaurant life, my father was done with the restaurant business. And because we were doing well, I decided to take it over and run it from there.
Awesome. Okay. And so, Tony, where did you and Steve meet? How did this collaboration come to be in existence?
Well, so Tony Starlight Supper Club and Lounge, for 8 years I have that. And I love that classic nightclub vibe. So for me to performing in a theater is not the same as performing in a nightclub. I love that. Ricky Ricardo's really still my life hero. And so, but after 8 years of running, the food, the beverage, running my show, it's just too much. I'm only one man, Steve, right? So I'd been looking for different ways to do this and a better, more show environment than the one I had. I've had a very awkward room. And so anyway, I'd been to Madison's before, and I'd seen a show. He had a banquet room, which used to be a union hall. Great room with a stage and just perfectly laid out and acoustically perfect for a show. And I saw a show there one time, and I thought, well, this would be a great room. Too bad it's somebody else's. And one day I saw Madison's was for sale. And I thought, oh, here's my chance. I'm going to buy Madison's restaurant. I'll take over their showroom wing, and everything will be set. And I call over, and Steve says, well, I've sold the restaurant. And I said, well, what have you done with the magnificent showroom that you have? He says, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I said, well, let's have lunch. And we wound up really bringing to one another what the other one needed. So he had this great room, but how do I fill it? And I have this show, but how do I provide food and beverage service and have somebody else do it, right? And so I partner with Steve's Catering Company. They provide the food and beverage service. I provide the entertainment. We both work together to bring private events to the room. Some he does in the room without me. Sometimes I'm off somewhere else doing a private event, but most of our work is together. And yeah, we're going to give you a show, and Steve's going to provide excellent food and service for you. So, and drinks, don't forget drinks.
I love me some alcohol. Yeah. I need me. And I can get a cocktail. I show up for dinner. I can get a cocktail before. I can get a martini before my dinner arrives.
Yep. Full service beer, wine, and cocktails. Local beers, of course. And there's so many great local distilleries there in the Central East Side. So we do our best to feature them in our Classic cocktails, because Tony's a classic show.
Yep.
But definitely using the new neighborhood distilleries and breweries.
I love that. Yeah, I'm old school. I just like a gin martini, wave the vermouth bottle over it for me, and I'm put 3 olives in it, and I'm happy.
Yep.
So, okay, so we're gonna close. There's 3 incredible plates of food in front of me, and I keep trying to eat them, and it's like better just wait till we talk about them and eat them there. But they're beautiful and they're amazing. We'll close out with that. But I'm really curious about the shows. So right now we're in the holiday season. You do a holiday show. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I do a Christmas show as kind of a throwback to the old television specials you used to see. So I'll do some classic people like Dean Martin, Bing Crosby, Jimmy Durante, even Neil Diamond, who managed to successfully capitalize on Christmas very well with some successful Christmas albums.
I have all of the Neil Diamond Christmas albums.
Oh, do you?
I've got 1,400 songs on my Christmas playlist.
Oh my goodness!
I love Christmas
even
music.
His signature one. Wish you a very merry cherry Christmas and a holly holy holiday too. And so
that's fantastic.
Another big part of the show, though, is theatrical. I have Bo Ayers, who plays the piano. Now, he worked for 12 years as Liberace's arranger and conductor. He's worked with Elvis Presley, Barbra Streisand. He knows show business.
He knows entertainment.
He absolutely does. His wife, Barbara, is an amazing singer, sang backups with Bobby Vinton, among others. We do this thing together where it's really theatrical, and we bring together, in the first set, a lot of, like the songs from The Grinch, songs from the Rankin and Bass Christmas specials that they had, the little stop motion animation, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Year Without a Santa Claus. We do like Cold Miser, Heat Miser. I get to do the Burgermeister, Meisterburger, a toy. I hate toys. I get to do that whole routine for you live. And so it's really just, old-fashioned Christmas special, the way that my generation anyway grew up, and the younger generation loves it too. So we get for the Christmas show people honestly from the age of 8 to 98. I'm not even kidding about that. We've had that whole range of people, and they all enjoy it. It's really entertaining and uplifting. But we also do a whole variety of shows at the Tony Starlight Showroom. We have a whole night of Neil Diamond, a whole night of Elton John, a whole night of Dean Martin, a whole night of Frank Sinatra. I did Frank Sinatra a couple weeks ago with a full big band, 18-piece big band. I do a tribute to television music, nothing but television music. If you don't like one of the songs, it's over in a minute, and there's another one.
Yeah, so do you do the song from Cheers?
Oh, of course. I would be run out of town if I didn't do Cheers. It's probably the most requested of all the television themes. One fun thing about that show is I will walk around the audience and ask, what songs have we missed? Every time they tell me 10 or 12 different ones. There's so many TV theme songs that you can play. So we just keep adding to that show. And that's kind of the thing overall, is we just keep adding to these shows, make them bigger and better. New Year's Eve, we do 2 shows of AM Gold. That is the 70s music that was featured on the AM dial. That's like your Jim Croce, Neil Diamond, Paul Simon, Carly Simon, even one-hit wonders like Climax. Who can forget? Precious and few are the moments we two can share.
So I
Eagles.
I haven't yet heard of Billy Joel's show, which I would root for, but I bet he appears in the 70s.
We're working on it. We do Piano Man. We do what else? We do My Life.
So is that in the 70s AM Gold?
That one, and then of course My Life is also in the TV one. It's in both shows.
Wow.
Right? We'd like to add more Billy Joel. I always wanted to do Don't Ask Me Why. That's one of my favorite songs. And Moving Out.
Yes.
Good songs. So we keep expanding the set. And these are how we do it. People say, what you need to do is this. And we say, okay.
And you mentioned you do 70s AM Gold. You have Eagles on there as well.
We have the Eagles, and they sort of straddle. So this is the way it works. So if we were to do Life in the Fast Lane, that's an FM song, so that does not appear.
That doesn't make the cut
Hotel
for
California, that's FM. We don't do that. But if you'd like to hear Lionize, that's an AM Eagles song.
Does Chicago make an appearance anywhere?
Chicago's kind of tough for that particular band because I don't have the horns. Now, we've done Chicago before in some other shows on nights when I have the big horn section. And then coincidentally, we do an all 80s show And I had a little medley of just horrible, horrible songs. And of course, Chicago appeared in that because it was, everybody needs a little time away. I heard her say, when we were talking about all the horrible, horrible wussy ballads of the 80s.
Wait, time out. The 80s were the greatest time in our nation's musical history.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 87. There's no better music on the planet.
Oh, my God. Well, we hit on all those horrible songs that everybody loves that reminds them of when they were young and virile.
That's exactly right. Glory days, as Bruce Springsteen would put it.
Is absolutely right.
Okay, so you do a holiday show. Tell me if I get this right, because this sounds like an amazing evening, great entertainment, great food, great drinks. So you can do a holiday show. Sometimes you do Neil Diamond, Elton John, 70s AM, Dean Martin. I bet the Frank Sinatra one's fantastic.
It is. Everything's a bit of a spectacle, too. We have a nice video that's integrated into the show, professional lighting. We take we dress appropriate to the material we're doing. So you're not going to see a band, you're going to see a show. And then most of the events we do, there's monologues that tie together the things. Comedy's a big part of it. I do a lot of song parodies. I can't get these jeans on anymore. That's like the truth of us who like 80s music is, everybody in that band's wearing Depends. So comedy is a gigantic part of the show. So we sort of put together music and comedy. You're not just going to see a band. You're going to see a show.
That sounds. I'm enchanted. That just sounds fantastic. I think everybody should go to the Stony Starlight showroom.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a couple people who, well, I didn't really care for that, and that's great, but that's the way it goes.
Curses to them.
Curses to them, but not many. I mean, quite frankly, I've been really overwhelmed and touched by the positive response. I don't remember people like not having a good time. Even if it's not, it's kind of funny. One of my favorite reviews we ever had is this woman gave us the dreaded 3 stars, which is right in the middle. It's like, if you give me 1 star, I know you're a kook. Give me 5 or 4. Give me 3. It's like, so I read her. I was like, why did you give me such a tepid response? And she goes, well, food was good, service was good, everything was fine if you like Neil Diamond and Frank Sinatra. I'm like, so in other words, if we do exactly what we advertised successfully, that's just a so-so night. So now I go, okay, that's a perspective on this. So, if you like what we're sending out, you're going to have a great time.
That sounds fantastic. So you roughly 25 years in showbiz and entertainment.
Absolutely. Next year will be my 25th anniversary since the birth of Tony Starlight in 1993.
Yeah, a Montage under the bridge just celebrated 25. I don't know if you've been there to that restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny how, people were like, oh, they're still around. Yeah, they're still around. Whereas Tony Starlight, people are like, oh, I love Tony Starlight. Nothing against Montage. I love them. Yeah. But it's funny how you really, I wasn't joking when I said you're a Portland legend. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Getting out, doing shows at the parks every year. I do a lot of emceeing at charity events. I've been the MC at the Veterans Day Parade the last 8 years. So getting out in the community and doing things like that really is kind of what fuels that. There's probably more people who have seen me in those places than have actually seen me in my venue, which actually I really like because, I mean, I'm still going to get you. You're still going to come to the show. So there's still just this fertile market of people that can keep coming to our show. We've got just the right size room right now to really provide you both a big show that feels intimate.
And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but you love entertaining, don't you?
Okay, I do.
So I'm a speaker, and there's something about being on stage when you're connected with the audience, and they're liking what you're putting out there, and they're enjoying it, and there's a connection. It's kind of a magical experience.
It absolutely is, and I like to walk around the audience and see people's faces and talk to them and look at. Sometimes we've had arguments with venues or even at the own place. I'm like, don't put people where I can't see their faces. They're in the shadows there. I want to be able to see them react to what we're doing. It's really important to have that connection. And, frankly, we change the show based on who's there often, So Last night I did a show just over at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for fun. Sort of get in touch with the old way I used to do shows with a small group in a small room. We had a group of 35 people, and I took their requests. What do you guys like? Started conversations with them during the show, and really made each person feel like they were part of an experience. And so many times, I feel like there's like this, well, there's the band, and then we're eating and drinking over here. And to me, it's all part of the same show. We're all here. Well, we are all here to focus on me, but we are all here together.
So, Steve, what's it like to get to do this kind of experience with a consummate entertainer?
It's fantastic. And the first time we met Tony, we went to his show at his former location in Hollywood. And as soon as we saw him performing a mashup of Journey and U2, we were like, wow, this guy can pull off. He can keep the audience fully engaged. And from that single show, we decided to take the risk of completely getting behind the Tony Starlight showroom in our space. And so we changed the model. We introduced the dinner show concept. And after over 3 years, our audience is really, really enjoying the unique shared experience that is the Tony Starlight show.
Well, I'm having a delightful time. I have to give a shout out to my friend Chris Krabs. She's been bugging me. Stephen, I have this great story. And I love Chris. Her husband, her daughter. She has a beautiful family. I love all of them. And I am so glad that she kept after me because I'm just having a fantastic time. Okay, so food. I've got 3 plates of incredible food in front of me. What's this first one right here? Tell me what it is. I'll eat and you talk.
Okay, so when you go to TonyStarlight.com, you're going to be asked to choose from one of 3 entrees, and we change those entrees every couple of months to make sure that our regular clients have a chance to try new things. We don't get too crazy with our food. We go for classic American meat potatoes, classic interpretation of American favorites, and we have found that our audience prefers that model. So you are now trying our chicken parmesan. And so we use a nice organic chicken, and we deep fry that in flour, spices, breadcrumbs. We use the San Marzano style tomatoes, so you get a little zing there, and a little Parmesan melted on top, mozzarella. And we've got a sweet potato mash, mostly potatoes with some sweet potatoes, and then green beans and carrots for a classic combination. That one is very well received.
Man, I just can't stop eating it. It is fantastic. I really like it.
I thought he was going to take a bite or two. He's like halfway through it.
I know.
You've still got to taste 2 more plates.
I know. I promised Nathan the brewer that I would share some with him, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is really good chicken parmesan.
Yeah. We first introduced that at the Dean Martin show because that was one of Dean Martin's favorites, and it was such a hit that we better bring that back for the holiday show.
Okay, so you not only does Tony edit what the show is based on who's there, you edit the food based on what the show is.
That's right. We try to we theme the cocktails to the show, we theme the menu to the show. You're looking at the vegetarian, vegan jackfruit entree.
Okay, so I love jackfruit. It is amazing. If people are like, I've had lots of bad vegan food in my life, but I've had lots of really good vegan food in my life. And jackfruit, if you don't know that it's jackfruit, you will swear that it's some kind of meat.
Yep.
Okay, so talk to me about this.
And that's why we do it with a wild mushroom ragu. And so you just add a nice big piece of jackfruit right there, and it just gives that, it fills a person up. It's something different than tofu, and it really takes on the flavors of the dish. And so we pair that up with the same sweet potato mash and green beans. And so instead of the vegetarians just skipping the meat, we give them a well-composed vegetarian entree from which to choose.
This is fantastic. I love meat. I love bacon. My favorite sandwich is a BLT. I could eat this vegetarian vegan dish and be happy, completely satisfied. I wouldn't miss the meat at all. It's well flavored. I love the mushroom, and I think your choice of jackfruit is brilliant.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, for dummy Tony here, what's a jackfruit?
It's a big tropical fruit. And it looks like kind of a dinosaur on the outside with all the spikes and everything. And you get in there, and there's parts of it that are appropriate, and you roast it off, and chop it up, and it.
So it truly is a fruit, and you roasted it.
Yes,
yeah.
but the texture, it looks like meat, and it's a big dish in Fiji Islands. And so when they have a special meal, they'll make a jackfruit dish because everybody can eat it, regardless of whether they're vegetarian or not. So big deal in Fijian cooking, Fijian cuisine. I've had lots of jackfruit curry. We used to have a Fijian food cart here in Portland that was phenomenal. So yeah, jackfruit is just amazing. And if you want to tell someone a fun false story about jackfruit, there was a pirate, and he sailed around, and his name was Jack Sparrow, and he found this fruit in Fiji, and he named it the jackfruit after himself. I actually told that to someone who wanted to know what jackfruit was, totally in jest, and they believed me. And I, a month later, heard them repeating the story seriously to people who looked like he'd lost his mind.
He could have named it.
True.
Could have named it 21 Jump Fruit.
There you go. Okay, and this I've been saving. This is the coup de grace. This looks absolutely beautiful. This is right in my wheelhouse. What is this piece of glorious heaven culinary delight?
This is my favorite too. We had to bring this back from last year. So this is a braised organic beef short rib. It's 3 or 4 days to get that right, and you just can't hurry it. So it should just melt in your mouth. The demi-glaze is from the drippings from the boiling of the ribs. And yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's been a fan favorite for years. Goes great with the sweet potato mash. Yep.
So what would you suggest I drink with this dish? Any thoughts? Anything come to mind?
Well, you might go for a big cab with that one, right?
Yep.
Or my personal favorite would be an IPA. So I'd probably drink an IPA with just about any meal.
Well, we're here at Culmination, and there was no wine on tap, so I have a Phaedrus IPA, and I'm having Phaedrus with this incredible short rib, and it is fantastic.
Yeah. Our Starlight Old Fashioned is one of our most popular cocktails. That goes great with all of our dishes, and you've got a couple of hours to eat at the show when you first arrive, and so we'll do a salad course, and then we'll do an entree course, and then at the intermission we'll bring out dessert for everybody.
Oh, tell me about dessert. I love me some dessert.
We use Baker's Cheesecake as a base of all of our desserts. It's a local cheesecake maker that has partnered with us almost since the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And so we go to a lot of trouble to make each one unique. So this month we start with a Bailey's flavored cheesecake, and we use a nice mint jam on the plate.
Wow.
Cardamom and cinnamon and toasted coconut on top, and just gives a great little mid-show boost so the audience can make it through the second set.
So regardless of the time of year, I get the cheesecake, but then it's whatever's in season, whatever makes sense for that time of year.
That's right. We changed the flavors of the cheesecake to fit the menu and to fit the season.
I do love me some good cheesecake very, very well. That sounds fantastic. And then I assume I can get a whiskey at the end.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, the Tony Starlight show is officially fueled by Maker's Mark.
Yes, okay.
I cannot drink a beer or I'll belch while I sing. I cannot drink wine or I get dehydrated. So the Tony Starlight show, people are always like, that's apple juice. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care what you think, but I know the truth. And I definitely don't know why they haven't sponsored me yet. Maybe this is the final call out. I have 2 dream sponsorships. One is Maker's Mark, and the other is Frito-Lay.
Okay, now that is funny. So I think, and Maker's Mark should. I think that would be fantastic of them to sponsor Tony Starlight. I think that would be great. Tony Starlight fueled by Maker's Mark.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, this has been so much fun getting to hear the story of how Tony Starlight came to be in existence, how the Tony Starlight Showroom, the latest place you can experience. How long has Tony Starlight Showroom been around?
We just celebrated 3 years in August.
So 2013?
14.
2014. So, man, you've been doing stuff for a long time. I can't wait to go check out a show and have the experience, take lots of photos. Steve, the food is amazing. Hats off to your team. You guys have done some fantastic stuff. Chicken Parmesan is like, okay. I mean, it's just like, okay, whatever. That one was stellar and fantastic.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Short ribs, I mean, that's hard to screw up, but you nailed it. You did just great. And a genius using the jackfruit. All my vegan and vegetarian friends, I bet you had a lot of people very, very happy when they go and they have a really good vegan or vegetarian option.
Yeah, they really do appreciate it. My team, Charlie and Manny, have done a great job of designing and executing these menus for us.
Well, yeah, and those guys, if I'm correct, we also make that vegan option as always gluten-free as well. So there's a lot of people with those kinds of restrictions that we can accommodate.
Oh, because you have gluten-free options as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. And again, just to affirm, you do have good gin, right? So I can get my gin martini.
We do.
Yeah, because I like to begin a good meal with gin and end it with whiskey. So, and anything in the middle, beer or wine's fine, but we got to start with gin and end with whiskey. So
We like Gomper's gin from Bend. That's a real nice gin.
Oh,
a really
that is a
unique
good
flavor
one.
profile. That's one of our favorites in the showroom.
nicely done. Well, Tony Starlight and Steve Brown, thank you so much. It was a delight to have you guys on the Portland Culinary Podcast, and I love getting to tell your story and enjoy your food, and I can't wait to help spread the good word of Tony Starlight.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I greatly appreciate your time.
All right. Cheers, everyone.